Hello, my name is Eduardo Araujo. I work on the Mosqlimate project, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can submit your model's forecast to the Mosqlimate platform using R. Well, so this video assumes that you have already registered your model on our platform. To find the very detailed and comprehensive instructions on exactly how to submit your forecast, they are located right here within the repository. You can find the direct link to it by looking at item 5 on the main instructions page. So down here at the bottom, you will find the details on how to prepare your submission. So here, using R, you need to have Python installed on your machine. Here's the tutorial for you to install it if you are using Linux or macOS. Besides that, you need to install the reticulate package so you can install the Mosqlient package. Pay attention that you need to get a version of the Mosqlient that is equal to or higher than version 2.1 for this tutorial to work. And in addition, make sure you are using Python 3.10 or above. Otherwise, you won't be able to install this version of the package. Well, once that's done, we have a tutorial that's here in the Demos Notebooks folder, which is the tutorial here in the RMD file, which I already have open here. Well, so here in this tutorial, I'm going to put it in preview mode so we can see it in better quality. It explains how to upload your predictions using, in this case, the function that we're going to use. Upload prediction from the Mosqlient package. This function has these parameters as prerequisites. So the first of them is your APK, which is your API key. If you don't know where it is, just open the Mosqlimate platform, go to your profile tab, then to the authentication field. It's right here. Just click here and copy it, and you'll have access to it. The next field is the repository, which is the name of your repository that should already be registered as a model on the platform. It needs to have the fields, first the owner, and then the name. Next, for the disease, you will need to indicate whether you are making a prediction for dengue. If it's dengue, you enter the code A90. If it's chikungunya, the code is A92.0. A description of your prediction. The commit associated with the prediction you made, so the commit will be there in your GitHub, and it's used to version your code. Just copy what's there. Below, in the example, we'll get there and it will become clear what it is. The case definition can be reported or probable. For IMDC, we only use probable cases. The pulled sheet field, which by default we set as true, but if you set it to false, what happens? Your prediction will go to the platform, but it will only appear on your models page. It will not appear on the dashboard with all the other models. Here, the ADM level field is for you to indicate whether the forecast you are submitting is at the national, state, or municipal level. So for example, if your forecast is at the state level, you will set the ADM level to 1. Then, if you set the ADM level to 1, you only need to fill in the ADM1 field. You don't need to fill in the other fields. In the same way, if you make a forecast for a municipality, you only need to set the ADM level to 2, and here, ADM2, with the municipality code. The forecast field, which is your actual forecast, will be in Python when the dates come in, but here it will be a table that must have the following columns. Date, which is the date of the forecast. Spread, which is the median of your forecast. And the confidence intervals of 95%, 90%, 80%, and 50%. So here we assume that, for example, the 95% interval refers to the 2.5th percentile and the 97.5th percentile. Well, in addition, it's very important for you to check, before submitting your forecast, whether the epidemiological week in your forecasts starts on Sunday, because that's the standard used for dengue data. Check if there are no gaps in your forecasts, if there are no missing dates. For example, there are years with 53 weeks, so make sure that week 53 is filled in correctly. Besides that, you need to check if you are including all the weeks in the interval from week 41 of the previous year up to week 40 according to the IMDC rules. Check that all your forecasts are positive because we are forecasting counts, the number of people. So it doesn't make sense to have a negative forecast value, whether as a point estimate or as an interval. Also check if your forecasts are monotonic. So here, if the 95% interval is smaller than the 90%, which is smaller than the 80%, and so on. Well, so now here I am going to run the notebook here. In this case, I'm going to use the R markdown. So the first step, I'm going to load the reticulate package, the table package, and the TMV package because I saved my API as a file, environment plus packages. If it works, I'm going to call pyconfig to check the Python configuration. I'm using 3.12. As I mentioned, it had to be a version above 3.10, so it will work. Here I'm going to capture my API from the environment, but you can just copy and paste the value here. And here I'm going to install the packages I'll need, which will be the Mosqlient package. And to use Mosqlient, I'll also need these other two packages, epweek and python.temp. Done here. Next, I'm going to load a forecast, which is a forecast from a model from last year that's inside this folder, demo notebook, and it's called example prediction 2. All right, so at this point, I have already successfully loaded the forecast data. Now to proceed with the upload, I am going to fill in the repository name right here, which is IMDC map example, an example of uploading forecasts in R Sonos. I will get the commit from my repository. So for that, I'll open it here, and on this commit page, I'll copy the number that is associated with this specific version of the code. I'll copy it here. So I'm going to assume that I'm making forecasts for dengue. So I entered the code A90 here, forecasts at the state level. So I set the ADM level to 1, and for the state of Sao Paulo, so I entered the ADM 135. So here, the case definition is probable. ADM2, since we're making a forecast for the state, doesn't need to be filled in. I already want to publish directly. After that, you just need to run this code here, which we'll call the upload prediction function from Mosqlimate. So here it worked, because the prediction and the ID of this new forecast appeared. So if we go to the platform, Mosqlimate, there in the modules, open the model here, forecast will already appear by default. Here, the latest forecast always appears, so here it's forecast 5466. And here it appears with a colored curve and with the forecast intervals in black the observed data up to now, since this forecast goes until the end of the year and we haven't reached that point yet. Here you can control which intervals will appear or not. Here you can view your forecast as a table, even to check the values and so on. And here you can download your forecast as a CSV. That's it, folks. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, leave them here or get in touch with us. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and we look forward to seeing you in the next discussions about the challenge. Bye-bye.